Get you some money, you're gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this the short version. You know, get you a couple dollars, man. You're gonna feel different.
Next little nip hustling. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know, I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
War in Cali is the channel. They say Kendrick Lamar. They talking about Kendrick Lamar. Deadly ties to the West Side, BOMPTON, PIRU's. Interesting subject matter. Everybody knows his affiliation where he grew up, but everybody also knows how he chose not to be actually directly associated as an active gang member. However, it seems he has not been able to escape the association, the affiliation, and the assimilation of being a member to a certain degree. We know a CEO is a member of another Damu facet, but I just thought since the consistent, continuous content creation campaign continues on these 7 C's as we slide through the YouTube streets, I know something about the West Side PIRU's. I know something about Kendrick. OK Dot, my partner. When I happen to be a more popular artist than he, we used to collab together. Since when he became more popular than me, not so much. He fuck with Lefty Gunplay and then you dig it lines. But hey, things change. Y'all heard the record, but with no further ado, let's see what they say Kendrick and the PIRU's have been up to.
See, Kendrick grew up in the hood, like really grew up in the hood.
He just don't know Kendrick.
That's what I'm saying. Like has Kendrick renounced his hood affiliation at a certain point?
Kendrick just don't be private and so like priding himself off of his gang culture. So I guess people think that he a non-affiliate.
The crazy part about it is Kendrick really grew up in a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
Protective neighborhood, but a rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? And shout out to those brothers over there. He grew up in the West Side PIRU area in Compton.
Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. Many rappers claim to be the hardest gangsters and the biggest steppers in the streets, but that's not the image that many view Kendrick Lamar as, with his music topics not describing himself as that. But Kendrick really comes from the trenches of Compton.
Whatnot, it's there, of course. I never pushed the line all extra hard like that, but I go through the same circumstances that a person pushed the line to get, you know what I mean? That's just how it is in Compton, you know what I mean? So everybody get.
That's when he fucked me up on dedication when he said he got DP'd. I was like, what the heck? Oh my God, no way. That was the most overt gangbang statement I heard Kendrick make.
Put to the test, and you just got to make the right decision.
Kendrick's parents both come from Chicago, and they settled in Compton in 1984 with family, for which they thought they were escaping the dangerous streets of Chicago. But little did they know, they entered another monster when they moved the family in Compton. Eventually, they got their own place in 1987 in Compton, which was on the West Side. During the 1980s and 90s, Compton, including the West Side, experienced some of the highest levels of violence in its history, tied to a decline of an economic system, gang activity, and a crack epidemic taking over. Reliable city crime data from that era shows that violent crime, especially homicide, rose sharply in the mid to late 80s.
I'm looking for something recognizable from West Side PIRU. I ain't caught nothing yet.
And stay elevated.
Sometimes these documentaries just be grabbing content from anywhere and just telling a story.
To the 90s. Compton's seen well over 70 to 90 murders per 100,000 residents in some years. For context, that's several times higher than what is considered even high today.
That might be on the outskirts of Enterprise Park. I don't know.
The west side of Compton has several gangs who ran the streets, including several Crip and PIRU sets, and Kendrick's family settled in an area claimed by a gang called the West Side PIRU's, a gang with history dating back to the 70s. And the West Side PIRU's were a fully active gang, locked into various wars with other gangs. Growing up in a community like this, Kendrick got a full experience about how serious life was. At just 5, he seen someone killed in this area, something no one that age should ever see. Kendrick didn't have the household most kids in his neighborhood had. He had both parents there to guide him and be there every step of the way. Most kids in his neighborhood had family members who was tied to gangs, were drug dealers, or drug addicts themselves. But Kendrick's life was around his neighborhood. Once he went outside, his friends and peers were all people from the West Side PIRU community, and some would become his closest friends to this day. Kendrick went to all the local schools, like Ronald E. McNair Elementary School, Vanguard Learning Center for middle school, and Centennial High School.
Growing up in Compton, it's real. I would like to say the one word to describe it is, or not to describe it, it's real unpredictable, period. You know, because you never know what type of mischief you're going to get yourself into. You know, you might be going to the liquor store and then that's your life right there. So you got to really watch your ways and watch your steps and how to move and watch the people you hang around. You know?
By the time Kendrick was a teen, he was naturally affiliated with the West Side PIRUs. He lived in the heart of their hood. Most of his friends in the neighborhood joined the gang, so he was guilty by association.
Right. Mm. In Element, you say that you got stumped out in front of your mama.
Yeah.
You really got stumped out in front of your mama?
Yeah, Avalon swap meet.
Damn.
Oh, back when I heard that?
Yeah. That's crazy because I got my first tattoo in the Avalon swap meet. I was young. I was 15. My grandfather died. Like, you know, my mother, she was raised on McKinley, and I was raised right there in that neighborhood at my grandmama's house often. So just so happened my grandfather died, you could walk to the Avalon swap meet from my grandmama's house. We used to walk to Clark's and all that all the time. Burger King, what was that, Pioneer? But anyway, and I walked in that motherfucker and low-key got that tattoo pop on my chest, in and out. But I used to dip in there and grab shoes. I'll leave the track news on the way to the set, dip in there, grab me some shoes, blue shit and all that, in and out. It was tricky, but believe me, that's a tricky thing, y'all. Y'all might not get it, but that's a tricky thing to have been doing for a Keyway East Side.
Yeah, Avalon swap meet. Yep.
In front of your mama?
Yeah. She was walking out. I'm already fading. Boop, boop, boop. Off 3-4 dudes.
And just looking at mom's tweet, though, that she had sent back, she came back and helped you out, though, too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, seemed like mom bought it, too. Yeah. She'd run up and like, get out my motherfucking house. So, damn, did she see it or she saw, like, the aftermath?
She seen it.
Damn.
She seen it. But, you know, it's funny, out of the respect of them seeing her
they
coming out.
They could have killed you.
Yeah,
they
right.
could have, right.
They just booked it out. Yeah.
Kendrick actually was deeper in the streets than most people realize. Like the life of most kids being gang affiliated, his friends around him were deep in the life. One of his friends was Jason Keaton, who was fully locked into being a West Side PIRU. Kendrick and Jason were like brothers, and Jason's little brother Chad was like a little brother to Kendrick. With Jason being fully invested in the street life since a teen, by 20 in 2007, he was sentenced to 21 years in prison. With him and Kendrick being so close, he asked Kendrick to look out for Chad, which Kendrick always tried to do. Kendrick came up in the rap industry and gained the buzz in LA County. Chad was also with Kendrick in his videos and just being around his big brother. But Chad was just like his older brother. He was a part of the streets, being named Stunner too. Jason, his older brother, hood name was Stunner. By 2012, Kendrick would become a legit star after his Good Kid, Mad City release, getting him a Good Kid, Mad City World Tour, which occurred in 2013. But tragedy would strike around 9 p.m. on Friday, July 12, 2013. A white sedan with 2 black males inside drove by and shot at Chad. Chad was wounded in a drive-by shooting as he left the home of one of his close friends. It happened at the corner of Parmalee Avenue, at Compton Street, in the West Side PIRU's turf. The crazy part about this, Chad didn't die that night or the next night. He died 31 days later. He died at only 23 years old in the hospital.
2013, there's been a shooting at Stockwell Street and Parmalee Avenue. The large, frustrated crowd has lots of candles and even more hope because, unlike most drive-bys in Compton, the intended victim is alive. He's Chad Keaton, a lifetime resident of the neighborhood.
Chad was attending a family function, literally around the corner from his house with a longtime friend. And as he's walking out the house at 9 p.m., a white sedan containing 2 African-American males drove by, saw him, and shot him.
As Detective Tomlin mentioned, Chad lived 1 block over on 134th Street with his grandmother, who raised him.
I heard the gunshots. Because it's happened, so close right there on the corner. And usually when he's out, if I hear anything, I will call him on his cell phone, because I'm worried and I'm afraid. And this time when I called him, he didn't answer. So that's when my heart just...
Oh, baby.
So I just had that feeling.
23-year-old Chad did not die that night or the next, so he was able to talk about what had happened.
Damn, you look like Dudley on Good Times right there. On Different Strokes.
Happened.
He had seen the car circling the area earlier. Didn't have a good...
Police steadily asking me who did the busing. Man, what does that matter? I'm shot.
Feeling for it, didn't recognize the people inside of it.
As the days went by, Chad's condition sometimes improved and sometimes it didn't.
Oh, the time that he spent in the hospital, he suffered. And it was hard for anyone that, loved him, cared about to see him in this condition.
Everyone have it? Straight ahead.
Doctors, nurses, and Chad's will to live kept him alive for 31 days. But the men who shot him eventually got what they wanted.
At this time, Kendrick was on tour. His death deeply affected Kendrick and Jason, which Kendrick felt he was supposed to have looked out for his little bro and made sure he was good. And Jason felt like he let his little brother down. The wrong time, Kendrick states. It all happened when I was overseas.
That's deep, because Dr. Dre got a brother story like that in his career too. He made a song about it, losing his brother. And he was supposed to be taking his ride with me. That's deep.
I talked to him over Skype on the hospital bed before he passed. Kendrick states, when Chad was killed, I couldn't disregard the emotion of relapsing and feeling the same anger that I felt when I was 16 or 17, when I wanted the next family to hurt, because you made my family hurt. Them emotions are still running in me, thinking about the slaying like that. Whether I'm a rap star or not, I feel like that when I'm a part of the problem rather than a solution. Kendrick raps about Chad and two other of his deceased homies, S. Braze and Pup in YG's song, Really Be Smoking and Drinking.
It's real, man. 3 of my homeboys that summertime, was murdered. Right. Close ones too, not just somebody that I hear about. These people I grow up with. So it all psychologically it messes your brain up, because you live in this life, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to face realities of this. I got to get back off that tour bus and go to these funerals, and go talk to my moms and talk to their aunties, the kids that lost their lives.
And he also mentions Chad in another song called Hood Politics.
Speaking from my partner talking to me, speaking on the story how I was there, when his brother passed, and I got to watch him take his last breath, and him respecting that, him, respecting I was down for his brother no matter how much they called him a delinquent, or such. And him also recognizing the fact that this is his lifestyle, he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and I wish one day I can see some positive, a positive light like you're doing in music, but this is me,
Since 2013, Kendrick has become one of the greatest rappers in his generation. And Jason, he has been released from prison and has become an author and still continues to have a deep relationship with Kendrick. Chad lost his life several years ago, but with Kendrick still honoring him and his brother, his name lives on.
That's another episode of War in Cali. Y'all go follow up. Yeah, that's not quite what I expected. They show his interconnections and shit. Showed a few little sound bites where it basically feel like Kendrick said, nigga, this PIRU.
Get you some money, you gonna feel different.
Straight up.
You might even, all that other advice I could have gave you, this is the short version. Get you a couple dollars, man. You gonna feel different.
Hey, net personal. Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.